The NFL is back, or NFL training camp is back, and that's fantastic news. I'm thrilled. There's finally something to talk about in the world of NFL. Uh, in particular, what a bang this NFL training camp season has started off with. We thought, let's get Mike Vrabel in front of the mics now, and let's really press him about Diana Rossini or something. Let's get some hard facts there, dude. Guy is thinking S tier right now. Guy shows up with a dog. Shows up to the press conference with a puppers. That is a smart, shrewd move by Mike Vrabel. I mean, it's not even his dog. Let me show you this dog. Look at that. That is a man operating on next level. That is an adorable dog. I want that dog. I would take that dog for sure in a heartbeat. And it's not his dog, because I think the Patriots were having some kind of adopt a dog situation going on that day. I didn't know they did that. I don't know if that's for the players or why they were having it there, but he just snatched one up, like Carrot Top, like an improv comic. He's like, I need a prop to get me out of the situation. So kudos. That's A+ material right there, Mikey boy. Borrowing a dog to distract. Way to go. Way to distract from the whole situation that's going on right now with you. But I gotta say, extra A+ to Mikey boy for giving us the opening training camp presser doggy style. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm your not safe for work host who clearly just crawled out of a dumpster. Thanks for joining me. That's Kevin. It is Thursday. It is the Thursday live stream here. Micah Parsons has a foot fetish. I just want to get that out of the way before we get into some of the more mundane, what's going on at the camp stuff. Maybe you heard that. He's into toes. And I'm not casting aspersions upon the man. We all have our kinks. But I thought that was funny. Especially as a foos myself. Let's get into some stupid stuff. As if toes wasn't enough to start the episode stupid. The Chiefs released a new rendering of their new stadium. Let's take a look, because we are thrilled to look at stadiums. I actually like looking at stadiums. So here we go. It's to me. Actually, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, my friends and neighbors, because this is nice looking. I'll give it that. If you're watching the live stream now, you can see it. If you're listening on Spotify, you can't. But let me describe it to you. It's pretty. Its sharp edges are nice. That's about the best way to put it. But to me, as nice as it is, it's also a little unimpressive. And it kind of reminds me of the Bean, I think it's called, from Chicago. It's like an upside down version of that. This is like an upside down shiny bean I guess this will be in, not Missouri, in Kansas. So it's not ugly by any means. Trust me, if it was, I would roast the crap out of it. And so my first thought when I saw this was, it's okay. And then I thought, well, let's compare it to other NFL stadiums that are coming out. Most recently, we're going to have the Bills Stadium. So I went and drew that up too. And that is also, not bad. I can't complain. I wouldn't say it's ugly. It's a little more bank-like looking than, say, this one. This one is more rounded and kind of futuristic looking. I feel like the stadium mock-up I saw for the Commanders was actually more impressive, though. But I do have to applaud a few things in this one, though. First of all, this $3 billion bean is set to open in 2031, and they did need a new stadium, so good on you, I guess. What I like about this one is two things. though. I will say positive things about this other than it's a shiny bean. So before they flick this bean, it is a dome. It doesn't look like a dome because of the shape it's in, but it's covered. And I kind of appreciate a dome that doesn't look like a dome. As I have stated many times on this through various videos and live streams, I am pro-dome. And I fully acknowledge and understand that I am in the minority on that. As a super rich old white man, I can now appreciate what it's like to be a minority on something. And I get it. It's not romantic. You want to see snow, you want to see people freezing their bits off because that's football. Football's for tough guys. But I'm not pro-dome because of anything to do with the play. It's because of the people who go to it. And the Chiefs in particular, when I started to realize I was pro-dome, it wasn't for any other reason. It was because people got limbs frostbitten and amputated. Maybe not limbs, fingers, maybe some toes. And I just kind of felt like that was an unnecessary thing for a fan to go through, because we have roof technology. So I do appreciate that this is a dome. What I also appreciate about this one in particular is it is a translucent dome. I have another picture. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me punch back to me as I make good TV here. Here we go. There it is. So you can see a little better in this one here from the inside that it does have a roof and it is translucent. I don't know if they're going to have real grass on this thing and if that was a necessary component to it. But at the very least, it's translucent, they said, so you can see military flyovers. The most important part of the game. But I do appreciate it does help make it seem a little more interesting than just a shiny upside down bean. It does add something to it from the inside to see this translucent dome. So I'll give them props for that. I like, personally, stadiums that have a covering of some kind but can open up. Like the Cowboys, like the Falcons. I like when it's covered, but you can still open it up on a whim, get some sun in there. So I kind of like what they did here. I appreciate it overall, even if it's not the prettiest son of a gun I've ever seen. So that's a stadium, people. Way to kick the show off with gusto and power. Let's get to some training camp actual news. There are trade requests. And hey, take them with a grain of salt. People often use that as just a bargaining chip. They're not happy with the momentum that their future contract is speeding away at. They want to try and get some leverage. So fine, you don't want me, I'm out of here. Happens all the time. Vita Vea is the most current one. He is looking for a new contract with the Bucks. It is not going the way he wants it to, so he has requested a trade. He, I think, at this point is probably viewed as a fringe top 10 at the position. Fringe meaning you could put him just inside comfortably, I think. Even at 31 years old, I don't know that you want to pay him a top 10 salary, but I would say he's still doing his job very well, even at his advanced age. He's only probably months away from one of those chairs that goes up and down the stairs for you. It's going to have to be a big, strong chair for him. But even last year, he had 34 tackles, 4.5 sacks. He's still doing it very well. And that position is getting paid this summer for a lot of people. We'll get into some of those peoples as well. But what is a good fit? What is a good team fit for Vita Vea? I've seen as many as 8 floated. And when I thought about it for my perspective, what I'm just going to assume Vita Vea is looking for, if it actually does want to get out of Tampa Bay, I'm looking at a good team fit, obviously. I'm looking at a contender because he's in that final contract, big contract anyway, part of his career. It's going to have to be somebody that's got a chance, which he is technically on already. Why go play for? That's why I think some of the reports of like going to the Raiders is not in the cards. So we need a good team fit. We need a contender and somebody with the money to pay him, because that's how this all started. He wants to get paid for his contributions. He wants a decent contract. He's not going to be top paid in the NFL, but he's looking for more. I think can't remember if he is paid at 20, but he's looking for slightly more. And I think that's what it's going to be, a couple mil more. So out of all the 8 that I saw, I don't actually agree with most of them. I would bring it down to 3. The Packers, the Commanders, and the Chargers. I think the Packers, I know they just paid Devontae Wyatt, but I do think that would be a good fit. I think when you put Vita Vea on that line, along with Wyatt, along with Micah Parsons, you've really got a pretty serious defensive line going on there, one that I would fear. So that's a good fit. The problem with the Packers is going to be money. I think, at least how their cap is right now, it's going to be a tight fit. He wouldn't be getting much more money than he's probably going to get with the Bucs this year. So they might have to do a little gymnastics with the massaging of the cap to get money, just enough to get him. If he wants to go there, maybe he'll take the slightly more to go with someone he feels is maybe more competitive. But I don't know that that's a great improvement for his situation. The one I think that makes the most amount of sense from a fit, from a need, from a money standpoint is going to be the Commanders. They need a little more there in the middle. They've got plenty enough money to pay him beyond what he wants or deserves. And I think their GM he's kind of a nutter. Sometimes he makes decisions and I go, oh, he gets it. He's smart. And other times I go, man, he is really just trying so hard, but it's not quite clicking for him yet. And maybe he'll get there. It takes people time. But case in point, last year, he hired a lot of vets for the defense, and that did not go so well. Maybe that would also scare him away this year, because I feel like this is a move he would make, but maybe he's thinking back to last year and going, I don't want to invest in old dudes. Not that 31 is decrepit, and like I said, he is still producing. So that is my top pick, if he's going to go anywhere, would be the Commanders, because I think the Packers probably would have some difficulty with making the money work. Chargers are also a very good, high likelihood, I think. I know they paid Dalvin Tomlinson or whoever to be there, but they could always use more. They need more on that defense. They need to build that defense up to keep them in games. They've got the money. That would very easily work. So those are the top 3, I think, even though it's probably just leverage for him to stay with the Bucs, but the Bucs have got some money things going on right now between him and Baker Mayfield. And it's not that they don't have the money, it's that they have to make future defining decisions. These are the things that are going to lead to their GM or even their coach, getting fired after this year. I know Todd Bowles is listed as being on the hot seat, and I completely get that. So many of these coaches that flamed out with the Jets, you wonder if they actually had it or not. And you see them go off and become playoff-y, contender-y teams and go, oh, maybe he was a pretty good coach after all. Todd Bowles seemed to be one of those, but he can't quite get over the hump. And I think maybe it's getting to the point where if something special doesn't happen this year, he might just be let go. Another person looking for a trade is not new. Anthony Richardson, I believe, said it last year. He's reiterating it now. And I really don't think he's going anywhere. And the main reason is easy. It was super easy to find fits for Vita Vea. Like I said, other people were floating 8. And I had to narrow it down to what made sense for me. Anthony Richardson, I see no team fit. Because what is he? So at this point, he's better off just staying with the Colts. I don't think anyone's reaching out to get him. Maybe in season, but they're not reaching out to get him as a starter. I think when you're looking at an Anthony Richardson, which at this point still, the data, the experience we have, the data we have on seeing Anthony Richardson as a pro athlete in the NFL is extremely limited. It's low, but that doesn't mean he's not just Trey Lance. Sometimes you see flashes early. You can work with it, but the sample size is very, very low, and it's not great. So I'm thinking more somebody, if they were to pick him up, would be absolutely somebody who does not need him. They're just throwing somebody young with a big arm and some runaround potential in their mix as a borderline backup slash QB3. You know, you don't want to, in case of emergency, break glass and bring him in automatically to be your real backup, but he's just kind of in the mix back there going forward. When I think of teams like that, I think of the Bills. I think of the Bengals. You know, Josh Allen is never coming off the field, and if he's injured, you're not putting Anthony Richardson in there right away to try and save your game or save a couple of games for you until Josh Allen gets back to full strength. So I think the Bills and Bengals make perfect sense, but they're not going to give up anything to get him. When I think of Anthony Richardson at this point, he's in a tier I think most would disagree is probably in the Will Levis, Joe Milton III tier, which is to say arm strength, some playmaking ability, athletic, still some unknowns, but you're not going to put your eggs in the basket of fixing him. He's just kind of in the wings, you know, back tier to try and see if maybe something flashes in camp or something, and you can develop him down the line, but it's not great. If he gets the keys to the car, it's just drunk driving, man. He's fast, but he's reckless. We've also got people holding in, which I love. I think that is a fantastic term, and I have thoughts on what it probably should mean. First of all, who is it? It's Bijan Robinson is most likely holding in, and so is Jahmyr Gibbs. Same draft class. They both showed that they are phenomenal at their jobs and deserving of money. Not that they're not getting paid now, but for a running back, this is that prime time. You get that second contract. You really make it count. So they are holding in, it seems, by all accounts. And I have a fix for that. And the fix is a bathroom key. It's been staring at us all along. Here's what you do. First, lock the bathrooms. This situation now at the training complexes is much like a bathroom at a gas station, and not a good one. Not like a Buc-ee's or something. One of those crappy ones where you go and you find the bathroom door is locked, and of course you find it right when you need it the most. And you have to go to the front and ask for the key, and they hand you a key to the bathroom that is attached to a giant cinder block or something just as cumbersome. That's what you need to do with these hold-ins, okay? Change your whole dynamic, okay? From now on, the holding in is also accompanied with holding in your pee, okay? That's how we're going to look at it. That's how we're going to tell our children that the name was ever created. So now, Bijan's there. Oh, he can use the bathroom. Make no mistake, I am not inhuman. He can use the bathroom, but he's got to go get the key attached to the cinder block, and when he's done, he's got to return it. You can't give it to other people. No, you are responsible. Maybe make him sign it in and out even. Put him on that. So, and only once you are no longer holding in and joining practice will we get rid of the bathroom key. In fact, maybe these guys will try and outthink us and avoid the bathroom key and just start bringing a jug to their hold-ins where they pee into the jug instead of having to get the key, which also I am not against. Make them like an Amazon worker. That way, when reporters get to the compound and they see guys walking around holding jugs of their own urine, they know who's holding in and who's not. They can adjust their questions accordingly. I think that is a good idea. I don't see any negative repercussions on that whatsoever. Pee jugs. Pee jugs for everybody holding in. You got to carry your piss. Everywhere. I don't know what they do with it at the end. That is not my business. Where they dispose of it, how they dispose of it. That would actually make Hard Knocks way more interesting if there was somebody just constantly, well, if he's got 2 or 3 of them by the end of the day. Like it's hot out and he's hydrating like crazy. He's got a story to tell. Injuries. Let's get to some injuries because unfortunately we're already at that point. Now that we're back at training camp, now that there's contact of any kind, and sometimes not contact, which is even worse, people are getting injured like hotcakes. That's just the game, unfortunately. Nick Scourton was kind of one of the first ones to go down. Panthers edge, confirmed ACL tear, which is really unfortunate. He had a lot of potential. Not that he's not dead. They didn't like drag him out like a lame horse and shoot him. But now he's even more delayed for his breakout. I really thought good things were going to come from him this year. He flashed a little last year. He was one that I would have invested in IDP in. Now it is delayed, his breakout, because it's going to take a full year to get back from that. This season is lost. Sticking with the Panthers, something going on there. Chris Brazel II, rookie, not as bad. Moderate LCL tear in his left knee. It was a non-contact injury, though, so that's a little concerning. However, he's only out for about 8 weeks, they think, right now. Not great if you already drafted him in your fantasy leagues, and if you were thinking of getting him, of course, now you're going to maybe think twice about getting him at the spot you would have previously, as ADP might take a minor hit. By all accounts, people are saying Xavier Legette is flashing in camp and is going to earn that wide receiver 3 role. Sure, I will believe it when I see it. I was an Xavier Legette believer, and I have jumped off of that ship. So, but if there's not really anyone else to compete with, yeah, he's got the 3 spot. And that will depend entirely on, obviously, the offense and how Wee Man throws the ball. So we'll see. If he comes out hot and starts using that number 3, good on him. Get what you can, because I think eventually he's probably going to get passed by a healthy Brazil. Brian Breezy of the Falcons, unfortunately, still coming in. This one just happened recently, and the fear is a torn ACL. So he probably will miss the season. Shamar Stewart happened even more recently. He was carted off the field on Wednesday with a leg injury. Don't have an update on that. Maybe by the time you watch this, you will know more than me. That's unfortunate because he would have been primed maybe for major contributions this season for the Bengals, whose defense definitely needs it. Switching over to the power station, 49ers, Jordan James, rib fracture in practice. That's a bummer. They're talking weeks, several weeks before he gets fully healthy again. So it's not going to cost him his season, but it is going to probably cost him building a good rapport as the primary backup to Christian McCaffrey. I know Kalen Black, the rookie, is sitting right there on the edge, who I kind of already penciled in as the immediate backup, despite the fact I'm not super huge on him. But I think it was probably, he was going to take that backup anyway, and probably will get a small amount of game reps, or was going to anyway. Jordan James was probably more so going to be change of pace and only see any kind of volume if McCaffrey, or when McCaffrey, gets injured for a game or two. So he'll be back, though. If you have him, keep him. Maybe if you have, I don't know, a sense that he might actually be more, you can go trade for him. Keeping with the power station, Ricky Pearsall also has some issues again. And as a investor in Ricky Pearsall in Dynasty Leagues, I'm getting a little annoyed at this point. Not as annoyed as probably Ricky Pearsall is, but hey, man, this is the hand that we've all been dealt. So he's got some swelling, some issue in the knee, the same knee he had an issue with last year. And they say he may require surgery, which at this point, being pubic hair away from August, not a great time. So he was never going to be number 1 here in this room, but now you've got a rookie, second-round pick, Dejon Stribling, breathing down his neck. He might require surgery, and you got to wonder, how is this guy's career going to go? At this point, he's so rarely on the field. He's starting to remind me of someone like Christian McCaffrey. Christian Watson from the Packers. And honestly, I would have better thoughts about Watson at this point, because at least he's been on the field enough to flash. Pearsall just isn't getting it done, and now he's set back again. Not high hopes for him overall as a dynasty prospect. If anything, he's starting to make me wonder more like a Juwan Jennings, somebody who doesn't pop until they're practically 30 at this point. So I'm not thrilled about his dynasty prospects or his contributions to the Niners this year. Camp battles that we were supposed to be watching as they are unfolding right now. So it's supposed to be Tua Tagovailoa versus Michael Penix Jr., and that is actually interesting to me in the way that a car crash is interesting to me. You know, I'm going to crane my neck. I'm going to look and see what the damage is. But we're not even getting that yet. Tua is not practicing because of an injury. Leave it to Tua to get an off-season injury. They said something flared up on him. And I'm not saying it's gonorrhea. I'm not saying that it's gonorrhea. I'm not saying it's not gonorrhea. It could be hemorrhoids. It could be a lot of other oids or us. I don't know. All I know is he's not practicing. Michael Penix Jr. is taking part in 7-on-7 drills, but not team drills. I don't know what his deal is, but they say he might be out for, or might be limited for another 4 weeks, which if you have a calendar, maybe on your phone or something, pretty close to touching the season, and somebody has to be under center. I feel like that's a rule somewhere in the NFL playbook there. I don't think they can just not have a quarterback. So currently, the only one healthy to do that would be Cooper Rush. What a time to be alive, Falcons fans. My God. You change your coach, change your QB situation, and you got Cooper Rush going out there. Oh, you know, that team is so very close to being good, and yet the hurdles feel like they're getting taller sometimes. Getting paid. Who's getting paid? It's not me. Oh, well, if it was, that'd be so sweet. Jacoby Brissett, he got paid. He didn't have to. I mean, it could have gone the other way for sure. Jacoby Brissett got a raise. One he was demanding all offseason, and it makes sense why he would want that. I mean, the dude is 33 years old. This is probably his last decent contract for any amount of money, and he's found himself in a situation where he just had the best, statistically, season of his career, and he's basically penciled in as the starter. You know, like it's going to be him, a rookie, or Gardner Minshew. And he's coming off the season he just had. So he was right to fight for more. Cardinals didn't have to do it. Not really. I know contracts change all the time, but it does feel weird sometimes to me as someone that you make a contract and then you just say, nah, that was worth nothing. But such is the game. So he went from $4.88 million a year, which is not even great backup money. I think the highest paid backup last year was closer to $7 or $8 million. So not even that much for a backup, to be honest. Well, the Cardinals boosted it to over $15.5 million. It could actually reach $21 million with incentives. Phenomenal job by Jacoby Brissett to get anything that is even close to that. They did, like I said, they did not have to do that. They did, but they didn't. Like they weren't going to start this season with somebody else, but was Jacoby really going to let this opportunity slip through his fingers? If he didn't get paid more, was he really going to sit out the season at 33? I don't really believe that. So good for him. He made some money. He's got starter level money for the 1 year, mostly 1 year, that he will probably be a starter for the Cardinals. And I mean, let's be honest. Last year may have been statistically the best of his career ever, and it was good on paper for even the Cardinals. You know, you saw guys like Michael Wilson really put up some numbers last year, especially when it was supposed to be Marvin Harrison Jr., who was supposed to be doing the putting up. Instead, we're all putting up with him. but the team still went 1-11. Now, I know that's the whole team, that's the coach who I didn't believe in, all that, but you do all that as a quarterback. It's kind of the opposite of someone like Jalen Hurts, who doesn't put up a ton of numbers, but wins games. That is technically the more important part of the game, the winning of the game. You can play the game, you can put up numbers, but if you don't win the game, nobody cares. So, speaking of the Eagles made Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, the highest paid defensive tackle this week. Golf clap for him, I guess. I've had mixed thoughts on him as well since he entered the league. Not just the way in which he did coming off of controversy with a car crash, but, spitting on guys. I don't want the next Ndamukong Sung, or how you say his name. I want somebody I can cheer for. And we all knew he was going to get a contract soon. We all knew he was going to get paid. And we knew that he wanted to be the highest paid defensive tackle. But I'm actually okay with this for a couple of reasons. So, first of all, let's get into the numbers. It's a 4-year deal, $152 million up to $160 million. Apparently, knowing that he was pushing so hard for a contract, he showed up in peak physical shape. So they say. I haven't seen it. The man refuses to strip for me and send pictures. But I've been told that he showed up like he had, blasted in the gym. That sounds weird. However one says it these days. He got jacked. He got ripped. I don't know. That he looks good. And that he's showing it, which I think is interesting. How is he showing it? Because he wasn't taking part in most team activities. He was kind of holding in as well. But this is the thing I think that's been holding him back. A little bit the mental with the effort and also the conditioning. I believe Vic Fangio said as much before. They're not paying him for what he is or was, the Eagles. They're paying him for what he will be. And what he will be at only 25 years old in the league is potentially top 3 at his position. I mean, he's already well regarded. He's good. He's very good, but he is not dominant other than a handful of times. Depends on who he's against. But he could be the best. Absolutely, he could be. And Vic Fangio has said as much. Like, dude, you're almost there. You just need to put in the effort. You need to condition your body more. And you need to do it. Just do it. So if he did do it, and it's happened before, Jordan Davis, the other defensive tackle for the Eagles, who just got paid, I don't know, a few months ago. It hasn't been a year yet. He put in the effort to overhaul his body, and last year had a breakout season. So it's right there in front of him. I mean, honestly, between Jordan Davis now and Jalen Carter, the Eagles have invested so much money in that interior. The Eagles now have 2 of the top highest paid defensive tackles in the league. And they could easily perform as 2 of the highest performing defensive tackles in the league. So they need them to. I mean, if they put their money there, they need it to pay off. So I think this is a good move for the Eagles because this contract, as silly as it seems right now, let's not forget this came on the heels of Jeffrey Simmons getting paid by the Titans. And he absolutely deserved every penny of his deal. But these deals are coming hard and fast, and they're resetting the market every time. The defensive tackle position in particular is getting crazy pushed to the top. D-tackle money has been on the rise for years now, and it's now the 4th highest paid position in the league. It goes quarterback, wide receiver, edge, and now defensive tackle. Scraping the bottom, linebackers and running backs still. It's how it's been. But D-tackle, worth it. So, good on them. I'm glad they got it done. This is going to be dwarfed probably pretty soon. No one seems to know who the next DT to get a big contract is going to be, but trust me, as the cap keeps going up, I always trust in Howie Roseman in everything except wide receiver drafting to get deals done and to go ahead, set the market, do it quick, do it early, and then they just get replaced. There is no benefit to waiting. You wait, you pay more, people get unhappy. Maybe they're not on the field training as much or at all. And next thing you know, they come back, they get hurt. I mean, time and time again, just get in, get them paid, get on with your life. Good for the Eagles. As for upcoming dates, Seattle Seahawks are on this year's Hard Knocks. So if you are the sort who still watches that, and I'm not one of those who constantly badmouths it, they have up years and they have down years. I'll put it this way. I like to watch some of it. Some of it has already peaked. It depends on the year, but I'm still interested. It's football. I like to see behind the scenes stuff. NFL films in general is still peak. It's Hard Knocks, HBO stuff is hit or miss, but that starts Tuesday, August 4th. So if you're looking for that, you will be thrilled if you are a Seahawks fan or just like to look at the behind the scenes stuff. Our first preseason game is actually Thursday, August 6th. Pronounce the TH. Hall of Fame game, Cardinals versus Panthers. So cool. I guess if you want to watch that, I'll be honest, as much as I love football and love to see behind the scenes, there's no less interesting game than the Hall of Fame game, to be honest. We'll watch it. A lot of us together, we'll watch it because it's football and it's back. But I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to say useless. It's not useless. It's just not exciting. But it's great to have football back. Also, August 13th, preseason starts for the rest of the league. And the good thing about all that is just the more information that's going to come in. Like I said, I'm thrilled to have things to talk about today. We didn't have as much goofy times with the casting of the movies and things, but I want people who maybe don't stare at every single inch of NFL news. I need to get some information out here beyond just stadium porn. I'm talking, trade requests, people holding in, people holding out, injuries. It's stuff you got to pay attention to. Stuff I pay attention to. You don't have to. Don't bother yourself. Don't worry your pretty little heads. I'll tell you everything you don't need to know. Also, I'll have a new video out probably by next live stream, but I'm not going to tease it for the simple fact that it's kind of an exercise in what people are willing to watch. I find this particular topic interesting, so I made a video about it. It might be my worst performing video ever. And I'm fine with that, to be honest, because at this point, if I had made another video that I thought would have performed well and not made this video and then quit YouTube the following week, I would have probably always had that video stuck in the back of my head as to like, well, somebody should have made it. And I'm not saying I'm quitting anytime soon. It's going on 5 years, and now I have a live stream to join videos. But it's stuff I think about. I think about a lot of things. Don't worry about it. So let's see. Is there anything else worth gabbing about? Did I even check the chat? Probably not. Thanks for joining us, guys. I saw we actually had people show up today, which is always a welcome change as I shout into the abyss. If you have anything next week you want to talk about, have questions, because there's a lot going on. Even as I scroll through, I should open it up right now. What app do you guys use now for news, by the way? I use the Rotoballer Fantasy News app to get info as an aggregate. I was using something else last year, and then it just stopped updating like 3/4 of the way through the season. But there's a lot of info coming in. And this is the time of year I have to remind myself not to fall for everything. There's going to be, I would say, a good 80% of the info coming out or questions asked, and it's going to color my opinion going into other fantasy football drafts, redraft, that kind of thing. It's going to color it in a bad way. I'm going to lose the thread on how I actually feel about some of these things because the pros are going to tell me a certain thing. 80% of it is going to be wrong. 20% is important camp info that you need to get on somebody who flashed or something that's happening and go, oh, there's there's an opportunity for me to sneaky grab somebody from my dynasty team or whatever. But a lot of this is just going to color the way I think about stuff. It's going to be absolute crap. For instance, if we want to have an example, Roman Wilson really popping right now at the wide receiver 3 spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anybody want Roman Wilson? Cyrus Allen taking first team reps for the Chiefs. Does that make you horny? There's a lot of stuff here that just, I think in 6 weeks we're never even going to remember was ever a headline of any kind. Jaden Blue flashing early in camp. That's one I raise a tiny eyebrow on. Stuff like that. Most of it, it's just noise. But, you know, I'm not trying to act like I am smarter than everybody else or holier than thou. I fall for it. I fall for so much of it. And that's why the dynasty team I have that I draft right after the draft versus the one that I'm probably not going to be drafting in for another 3 weeks yet, they are very different. One is still struggling to contend after years, and the other one came in second place last year. So fortitude, mental fortitude is what you got to hold. Difficult, very difficult, because these are the pros telling you stuff, and you want to listen so bad. Anyway, thanks for watching Shut Up Football's Thursday live stream. We will be back again next Thursday at 11 a.m. East Coast time if you're looking to drop in, or if you want to catch it after the fact on YouTube or Spotify if you just want to listen. Although they do have video there too, although I try not to show too much video stuff here in the live streams, but sometimes we do. You can always check us out there as well. Until then, thanks for joining. Say hi to your mom for me, and we will see you next week. Peace. That's not the right button, but I love that I pressed it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.